What's up, YouTube? It's FitzBro, and we are here today to talk about a highly debated topic, which is civilization banning in major Age of Empires 4 tournaments. Now, how this works, in case you aren't familiar, I've pulled up the sample draft that you would see in a tournament, but players at the beginning of a matchup will have a screen like this where they first select each player will select one civilization they want to ban. So if I ban the Abbasid, that means I can't play Abbasid. If it's a global ban, which it was for this most recent EGC Winter Championship, that means my player can't play Abbasid and I can't play Abbasid. And then my opponent gets to pick. Now, they might also, it's hidden, right? So they might also pick the same civ as me, Abbasid, or they'll pick a different one, which often is probably the case. So that can result in a total of 2 civilizations not being used in that entire series. If I ban Mongolia, my opponent bans Delhi. Both of us can't play those in a global ban situation, just so we're on the same page. So the question is this a good tournament model for Age of Empires 4? Does this create highly competitive, highly interesting, esports ready gameplay to participate in when it comes to these major $20,000 Age of Empires 4 tournaments? And there's a lot of viewpoints on both sides of pro banning, not banning, changing the ban system. And I'll give you a few of my opinions, and I'm also going to share a few thoughts that a few of my YouTube community members left in the comments. Now, if you have some thoughts on this as I'm going along, whether I'm completely wrong or you just have some different ideas, throw this down in the comments section, and I would be interested to see where you stand on this. I do have a poll, which you can still go participate in on my community tab of my YouTube channel, and let me know what you think about the current banning system. But here's a few things to consider. In a global ban system, which is what's been used lately, there's 2 civilizations that are essentially going to be, I hit the whole desk, to be knocked out of that matchup, right? So that leaves us with 6 civilizations. I already don't love the fact that we are going to be limited to 6 out of 8 civilizations, because it's not like we have 12 or 16 civilizations from choose from. That really narrows our options of what to play. Now you can say, well, StarCraft only has 3 civilizations, right? But in Age of Empires, I feel like there's a lot of players who probably have like a favorite civilization here or there, which brings you to the topic of, one-tricking in its merit in tournaments. And I think we would all agree that being a civilization one-trick, meaning only playing a single civilization, is probably not the best business model if your goal is to be a competitive tournament player. Sure. But I would also think that even many of the best players have a favorite civilization to play at the very least, right? And one thing that has been really disappointing me lately is when I'm casting these pro tournaments, I would love to see players taking like 2, top 10 players playing their best favorite civilization and going toe to toe. Like, wouldn't that be super entertaining to see? Super high level. Maybe like someone who really loves Delhi and really loves the Abbasid dynasty or French or whatever it is. I would love to see people playing their best civilization in some of these big matchups. Players that come to mind to me, that I cast a lot of Salami's game. He's a top 50 Delhi player, and he's going to get meta banned every tournament. He's never going to be able to play Delhi in a tournament. And that kind of sucks. I would love to see what his Delhi looks like in a tournament. Same thing with my brother. He's a Holy Roman Empire main. It's the only civilization he's been playing. He's very much one-tricked them, and he didn't get to play them in that tournament last weekend, even though he was seeded into that Saturday main event. Now, you could say, yes, those players need to spend more time learning other civilizations. True, but I still would love to see Fitzy here playing HRE in a tournament, or Salami playing Delhi in a tournament. And personally, I play a lot of Delhi, so it comes to banning, that got banned for me, and we all know, the elephant in the room, Mongols. That's what everyone comes back to. Well, you have to have civil banning because of Mongols. So I specifically asked about this in my poll. So I'm going to pull that up and show you. Because I asked a poll here on YouTube. And I said, what are your thoughts on global civ banning in major tournaments? And then saying the options were, it's good as is, remove global ban, allow any civ, or ban Mongols for now and remove civ banning option. And then there's people who left comments below. And you'll see here, this is rather split. You might say, oh, well, 52% said global civ ban is good as is. Now, first question is, did they actually read all the options, right? You only take the stats for what they are. But this is almost equal. 50% said remove global civ ban. They want any civilization. And 23% saying no, ban Mongols for now from tournaments and remove civ banning option altogether. So this is, 48% of the people who participate, this is 713 here, thought that something should be different about this. And I thought this was quite interesting. And I think this also is a perfect demonstration of people are all on all sides of this debate, right? Some are for it, some are against it. And of course, at the end of the day, maybe in these high-level tournaments, it really should be the pro players making those decisions, right? And we don't know the ELO sample size here. But a few comments just to get you thinking. There's so few civs banning that 2 civs can be boring. Also, your opponent sees what civ you're going for. If not, both players can ban Mongols. So what Elab's talking about is, a player like Salami, who's played a lot of Delhi, they're going to, another opponent is going to scout them out and say, oh yeah, this guy is a Delhi main. I'm definitely banning that civilization. And maybe that player has spent the time maining Mongols, or I would even say Rus, because Rus were pretty overpowered until the most recent patch, I would say. So a player who has spent time maining an off S-tier meta civ, I feel like is actually being punished with this current global ban system, because it's assumed that Mongols will be banned. Like, people who've been playing a lot of Mongols, they know that civ is going to get banned. And I don't know, that really just something I think about a lot. In my opinion, bans make it so where people have at least 2 main civs and not just be a one-trick Mongol tower rush pony. And I also thought this was curious how many of these comments specifically call out Mongols, which brings me to my third point of, do we really need a banning system, or do we just need to ban Mongols until they're brought in the line with the other civilizations? But I do agree, you should be able to play other civilizations, as I've stated before. Devs should have spent the last few months being more aggressive with balance tweaks. Now, we all have our thoughts on balance and patches. We've talked about that, so I'm not going to absolutely hit that home there. The problem is Mongols at every level, clearly OP in multiple aspects of the game, requires proper rework. So yet again, Mongols has been mentioned. Civ ban is good, or else we'll see. So this person probably voted for that first category. Civ ban is good as is, but that's only because of Mongols. And so that's something that I keep seeing in a lot of these comments here. Understand civ banning because some civs are OP, specifically mentioning the balance. I don't see why anyone should be able to ban another player from using a certain civ. There are balance issues in the game that shouldn't come at the detriment of a player who has a main civ. So, as you can see, a lot of thoughts here, right? And I asked for comments in Discord as well, and I hope you leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts on this topic specifically. But I thought it was something that needed to be addressed as I've been casting all these major tournaments. I participated in the qualifiers last week, and watching some of my favorite players not to get to play their best civilizations kind of bummed me out. And I don't know about you. Of course, a professional tournament should have the professional AoE4 players. Yes, sure. But I don't have 12 hours a day to dedicate to learning every civilization. I know players like Hera do. I know DeMuslim probably has. Even those guys you see at the top, Marine Lord, they have the time. That's their full-time, job is. But how does that even, if you're not at that stage right now, how do you get to that point with the current system? I have 9-to-5 job. I don't have time to master 8 civilizations. It's hard. I can be okay, but I truly don't have time to master 8. So I pick a few. And you could say, prepare yourself for best of 3. At least have, even for a best of 3, you have to technically have 5 civs in your pocket, right? Because 2 of the civs you could have practiced could have been banned, meaning you're going to need at the very least 3 possible options. So you have to have at least 5 civs mastered in a situation where there could be 2 global bans, right? And even that alone, that's a lot, right? That's a lot of time that most players, I don't have the time to learn that many civs at a super, super competitive level. Yeah, I can be pretty good at most of them, and there's things that cross over. But I do think it's challenging for people who don't have 8 to 12 hours a day to practice each civilization to be extremely competitive in some of these S-tier tournaments. And, maybe that's when you say, well, that's why these are events meant for the pros who do have the time to do that. But how do you break into that scene if you're not already there and don't have the time to dedicate that, aren't able to get on that level, to get that, to that next spot in maybe your professional gaming or your content creation or whatever it is. Now, it is not my goal to be a top 10 Age of Empires 4 player. It would be fun, but that's not my personal goal. I enjoy picking a few civilizations that I really like and playing with them a lot. And I just would like to be able to have the opportunity maybe to play those civilizations when it comes time to a tournament. But wanted to bring this topic up because I've been thinking about it a lot recently. I would love to see your comments, what you think about Civ banning in major tournaments. And let me know what you thought about the format of a video like this. I'm hoping to cover some other topics about AoE4. So if there's something else you would like to see a poll or me to discuss in a future video, leave that below. And as always, make sure you click that subscribe. We just hit 1 million views on the YouTube channel, so I greatly appreciate that. And I'll be live on Twitch soon after this video has been posted. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.